Okay, Logan, can you describe the project that you want us to make today?
A water project.
Okay, and how does it work?
Okay, first you have to make the pipes.
Okay.
Then we need a big bucket.
Okay. Where do you think we should go to get the parts to build this?
A depot.
Home Depot?
Yeah, because we want to build stuff there.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do a drawing. That way we can figure out how this is going to work, okay?
Okay.
Alright, let's do a rough sketch on the back sheet. So we're going to need a bucket. Got a rough sketch of what we need. So let's go ahead and try to get some final details like quantities and stuff.
This is going to be the sunniest day ever.
The first thing is we should probably build two, since why build one when you can build two for twice the price, right? Alright, so we have our drawing. We have the very important parts list based off of the drawing. An explanation of the large pieces of pipe and how we're going to cut them to make the smaller pieces and to fit them in my car. And down here we have an explanation on how we're going to retain the pipe. We're going to put the pipe all the way across the bottom of the bucket and out the side. That way we can glue or epoxy it to the bottom of the bucket in multiple points. And then we'll just drill some holes in the top of the pipe and leave the end of the pipe open to allow the water to come down. Alright, we're looking for sprinkler pipes at Home Depot.
Oh, guys, turn around.
Oh,
Turn around.
what's that over there, Logan?
Regular pipe. A little pipe.
So we talked to a Home Depot guy and he had a really great idea. I didn't like the idea of using glue, but I didn't want the bucket to leak, so his thought is we put a hole in the bucket, put some gaskets on here, and then this is inside, this is outside the bucket. We screw it together, and then we get a nice seal. It's always important when you do these kinds of projects that you bring the right kind of car with you to fit everything in it. Right, Logan?
Yeah.
Right. I always find it a good idea when I'm about to do something permanent, like drill a hole in the bucket, to label the pieces.
What?
So I have inside and outside labeled here, and I have my position on the bucket. I just kind of ball pointed it under the handle, so we should be good to go. It's always a good idea when drilling anything to make a jig. It doesn't have to be fancy. I just clamped to there and clamped to there, and you know, now it's not going to kick on me when I drill it, but I don't want to get a face full of bucket. I need to drill a pretty big hole, but I'm going to drill a pilot hole first. When you stick a really big drill bit in a bucket or anything, it'll tend to walk around. So what you do is you do the little tiny drill bit hole first, and that keeps it centered and keeps it from skidding off and going crazy. Now I have a drill that I think will work. I think that's going to be the perfect size. And I tried to eyeball it on the connector, but I want to make absolutely certain before I destroy my bucket. So I'm going to drill a piece of wood just to see if things line up right. I didn't have any thin-walled wood laying around, so I'm just going to use a piece of cardboard here. It usually works pretty well, especially if you can get the multi-layered cardboard. That stuff's pretty strong. So I drilled a pilot hole that fits the same diameter as this. That way we can cut a nice clean hole with this thing. So that's been done. Alright, so now we're going to cut our hole. And that makes a beautiful, beautiful hole. Look how clean that is. Okay, now we're just going to take this fitting, we're going to push it into the bucket. It actually makes a good seal just by the amount of friction or extra tolerance that was left. I guess not having the right bit turned out to be an advantage in this case. Alright, so we got it in there. You can see it in there. It's pushed down a little bit, so I'm going to use that compression fitting that I bought to keep it pushed up and hopefully hold it in. And then it'll give us something to maybe toss some glue on or something, just so that we are sure it's not going to come apart on us. So there you go. We're going to use PVC sprinkler pipe cement. There's a two-part thing. There's a primer, which is purple, and then there's the actual cement that's blue. So you put the primer on first, and then you hold the cement for about 30 seconds, and it's pretty much good to go after that. You don't want to pressurize it with like 150 psi for a couple hours. So we're going to put the primer on right now. So we're all primed and ready to go. Now this blue stuff's supposed to be liquidy, but mine's been sitting around and it's kind of turned into this nasty goo, and they say not to use it when that happens, but I don't feel like going back to Home Depot right now, so I'm just going to use it anyway.
Hey, look at it, it's all blacky.
Yeah, it's supposed to be blue too, not black. Alright, now to prime the other side of the connection, back to using the purple stuff, which isn't all gooey and yucky and nasty. So I just prime both sides, very simple. Alright, and now for our gunky glue. Like I said, this should be a nice liquidy blue color. I think it was blue, not this disgusting black tar pit that I have here. Ugh. Now, when you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. I'm just going to use some of this PVC glue, primer first, on this joint here. Now, this bucket is made out of HDPE, not PVC, so it's probably not going to be an ideal use of the glue, but it'll probably work a little bit. So we'll go ahead and just glob some of this gunk on there, and I'm going to probably throw it away anyway, so I might as well get some use out of it. Almost looks like we know what we're doing here, huh? So there we have our Homer bucket with spout, or if we want to get all technical, we have a reservoir. The most expensive part of this project so far is this ball valve. It was like $2. Everything else has been like 25 cents a piece. So my original plan was to glue a pipe along the bottom of the bucket and drill holes in it. A guy at Home Depot suggested a compression fitting, which is a great idea, and I bought the parts for it. Unfortunately, I didn't have a bit that I could drill the proper hole with. All I had was this one. So I drilled the hole, and then I just kind of jammed the piece in there. And there was enough friction, fortunately, between the bucket and the piece that I jammed in there that it worked. I used the compression fitting that I bought from Home Depot because it flares out at the bottom, so that'll help keep this from getting like cockeyed in the bucket like that. All that's left to do now is just to cut up a bunch of bits of pipe and do a lot of filing and sanding. Hopefully I can get the kids to help me out on that one, and we should be ready to play with some water. All right, Logan, let's see it work. Turn it on. Is it working? Oh.
Hey.
That's a pretty cool invention.